I looked back after setting my hand to the plow. Am I done for? Hi, my name is Ted Rosenblatt, and I'm here with my father, Dr. Rod Rosenblatt, and this is Talks with Dad Rod. There's this part of Luke where Jesus talks about, setting your hand to the plow and not looking back. You know, has that sort of implicit or else, that you won't get in there if you do that. And if I go and I look in my life and I find that I've done that somewhere along the way, it seems to me my inner voice is saying, that's all well and good. You've been, doing this Christianly type of stuff since then, but you're toast anyway because you went and did the thing Jesus said not to do. Where do I then, is there any good news for someone like me who has done something like that?
It's good to read the text itself. And if we're correct, it's again law, not gospel. It's an announcement of something that looks like you could void everything. The thing is, seeing it as law, that in a way, every fallen human being is condemned by it. There will be none saved. One of the ways the Reformers spoke of sin, one of the many ways, was incurvitas in se, or turned in on self. And we all do it. We're always inclined to checking ourselves against the law. But to check yourself against the law is always, always to fail. We need a Savior who is a Savior so great that he's going to take those things on his own body and die for them as well. So every time the law voids our salvation, and in this case, looking back, the question is his death sufficient for me having done that, even if it was 30 years ago? And the biblical answer is yes. Learn something from this, that if you're going to keep checking like that, you're always going to get the same answer. That is, I'm lost, or there's no way.
Was it in Romans? It's clear that there is, I can't remember, this is right off the cuff.
First 3 chapters of Romans.
There is not one.
Yep.
And we see that also in earlier parts of Scripture, in the Old Testament.
Yep.
For the sake of one, Lord, will you intercede? Will you stay your hand?
Abraham's arguing for the city and negotiating.
And God is so patient that he lets him keep asking, please don't zatch me, Lord. Can I ask one more thing?
Yeah. And, so the key to this is what the Reformation says from the biblical text about Christianity being about him and about his claims about himself and his claims about what he was here to do, that is to die. Those are the key questions, not how are you doing it. You're doing it. With my students, I used to say, imagine a column J and a column S. Column J representing justification and column S representing sanctification. If one single thing from column S sneaks over into column J, we're lost, every one of us. The key thing is to keep him the subject as he said he was, and our failure over here, clearly our failure, and then his promises concerning dying for those who are unworthy. We all qualify on that. We're all unworthy.
So all those failures in that one column that are ours, he then swaps the heading of it so that it looks like his.
That's right. The great exchange.
So that the struggle is that the law does its work.
Yep.
It's so condemning. I look at something like that and go, well, I'm done.
Yep.
If the law seems really clear, and I know it's for all of us, for each of us, it's a different sort of scenario. Some of the law will bind someone, will really convict one person of one thing, and another part will convict somebody else.
Right.
But
to be checkmated is hopeful. He died for the checkmated.
If you have no other option, because the law
while we
convicts so
were
thoroughly.
yet at our worst, he came to die for us. At our worst.
So even though I have, at some point in my life, done exactly what Jesus said not to do, or else you're not in.
And you have, and so have I.
And according to what we get in the Old Testament, that's everybody.
Yeah.
And this kind of reminds me of an episode we just did about is Jesus or is God trying to get people in doing anything he can to get people into heaven, or trying to nail anybody on any particular little grain of violation.
Yeah,
keep
think
them
of the Pharisee and the publican. The Pharisee announces to God, in case he's forgotten, everything that the Pharisee has done, to his glory probably. And the publican would not even lift up his eyes to heaven, but prayed, Lord, be merciful to me, a sinner. Says Jesus, I tell you, that man, the latter, went down to his house justified rather than the other.
Because he only could speak from failure. There was no glory, there was no winning, there was no satisfaction of the law. There was only recognition of condemnation, and all I have is you and what
Exactly.
the grace we get in Jesus, because there's nothing else.
Yep.
That sort of condemnation, it's so thorough that it's hard to imagine that there's enough grace to cover that.
Yep.
As a human being, once the law has done its work, it's hard to imagine that even Jesus could do it. And I think that's why we end up having it. One of the main reasons sinners have to have it preached into their ears so much, because we're constantly going back to doubt. Constantly.
Yep.
Well, if you're like me, right?
Yep.
And talking to a bunch of you, we love talking to you guys. It's the best. We get to do it in person. We get to do it in social media. We get to do it all over the place. And guess what? You think I'm up here just acting like I'm, acting, and I'm not actually that. I'm confessing the legitimate sin of my soul. I'm not faking. When I sit up here and ask Dad these questions and pitch these across the plate, this is not me. I'm not lying. I'm not the words I speak are a true confession. So I hope that makes sense, and I think that it does. We really get a lot of good input from you. And as you can see here, we're entering the Christmas season. This is the first time we've played on our set. So we hope if you've watched the video of this, if you don't watch the video and you only hear this in audio with our podcast, then, it'd be kind of fun every once in a while for you to go and check it out on one of our video channels. But we're right now we're entering into Epiphany. We just had the first Sunday in Epiphany.
Advent.
I'm sorry, Advent. That's coming up. I just broke it. We're going to talk about Epiphany. That's coming. Advent. And wanted to have a little fun. So we hope you enjoy this, and you'll see this set will look like this through the Christmas season, and we'll kind of give you a wink and a nod that the Christmas season is ending. We do the 12 days of Christmas. We don't just yank all our Christmas stuff down as soon as possible. We try to do it. We try to do it as much as we can. So it's a very happy season for us, and especially this year here in 2021, we need a lot, right? Woof. These days are hard. So hope this is comforting to you. I hope this feeds your faith, and that you come back to us for more. 1517.org, and visit us on social media, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us on Talks with Dad Rod, part of the 1517 Podcast Network. This podcast and all 1517's content is made possible through financial support by listeners just like you. Please visit 1517.org for more, and please consider clicking on the donate button and making a recurring or one-time contribution to help us share this good news in a world which so desperately needs it.